Okay, so we got it is backed up in the Bible all over the place. Okay, and this would be like you said, it would be the Aleph Tav. He says in Revelations, "I am the beginning and the end." So there's got to be a beginning to something and the end to something of what he's doing. Now, let's put I am the Aleph Tav, the beginning and the end. When, if you're saying the 1335, okay, and we're going to play devil's advocate here. We'll go ahead and put you on the, you believe it's the 1335 date, okay, with the auroras. I'm going to say it's the solar eclipses. Now, with that, I'll size that up. I'll hit the ball back over to you. When was the beginning and the end in the aurora? Because he says, I am the, it's called the sign of the Son of Man. So I am the Son of Man. And like you said, it's a signature, a sign. Okay. And the sign is going to be a signature. And where does he say it will be? In the heavens. Okay. So they both are in the heavens. Now, one's a signature. Are the auroras a signature? Okay. Now, like I said, too, now, I mean, like you said, it really doesn't matter, but you were talking about the locations. Okay. These weren't, it wasn't the three eclipses that happened and gave the Aleph Tav over Australia or, you know, Middle East countries or Germany or China. You see, these were given over America. America is not a blood. Okay, it's a melting pot of all nationalities. I think it's the representation. If he's going to sign something that is to basically be for the Gentiles, because it's only in Matthew 24. I'm only talking to you Gentiles. Y'all are going to see the sign of the Son of Man. The Jews don't say it. Okay. Now, when we see this sign, this signature, I mean, to me, it looks like a signature. Okay. I'm going to put it over where all Gentile blood is. It's a mixing pot. There's no other country in the world that has a mixture of nationalities other than America. Even Canada and Mexico have their nationalities. Okay. Canada is nothing but, you know, people from over in England. Okay. Now, when you got, I mean, the only ones here are the Native American Indians, and they're down to nothing. But anyway, if you really want to give America blood, it would be the Native American Indians. So, with all these different nationalities, no country has more of a mixture of nationalities than America. Gentiles, even Jews are over here, you know? So, to me, it does back up in the Bible because it even, I mean, that's, I mean, I don't care for the Sefer Bible, but the one thing that I like that they did was put a lot of the Hebrew writings back into the Greek scriptures. So it does say Elif Tav all over the place, even in Genesis. So there you got the beginning in Genesis. There you got the end in Revelations. What's he say in Revelations? I'm the beginning and the end. So my point is there's got to be a beginning and an end to something if he's the Aleph Tav. He says, I am the Son of Man. This is the signature, the sign of the Son of Man. So now we're looking at when was the beginning? If 1335 was the end with the Aleph Tav, I see it's the end of the age of the Gentiles. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. And with that, man, there's a lot of things on that 1335. And then the blessing, and then the sealing, and then it's tied into the May 6th or the May 5th thing. Okay. And the cleansing of the temple. That's when it ended. And all of a sudden he gave, to me, what is that aurora? They're rainbows. They're rainbow colors from the throne room of heaven. It's like, man, it was definitely divine. Like you said, it was definitely, you know, inspired by the Lord. I mean, I've never seen anything like that either. The world has never seen anything like that with these auroras. But what does it represent? Is it God's signature of the beginning and the end, the Aleph Tav? Is it the end? So you got to ask yourself, well, when was the beginning of it? There's got to be a beginning. So you got the beginning with these solar eclipses. And then right after that very first solar eclipse was the Revelations 12 sign. Here comes the Lord. Here's the beginning. That's what I'm saying. Here's the beginning of the 7 years, the 7 trumpets. The very first trumpet, Feast of Trumpets, he comes out with the sign, the Revelations 12 sign. So there's a great sign in heaven. There it is, the Revelations 12 sign. But he already began his 7 years, his Levitical 7 years. So it started on Feast of Trumpets with the Revelations 12 sign. It ended on Tabernacles, the last great day on the Gregorian side. Okay, so there's a beginning and end. So I can see that, but that's Levitical. Okay, now that's fine. I think what we did, because we were so hyped up, and then we even we were like looking like, man, is this the rapture? You know, then we're kind of tying it into the Daniel 12. But right before that 1335 came, I pulled the plug on it. I'm like, he's not coming. He's not coming that day. As much as I thought, much as I tried to put in there to see that, yeah, it could be, it could be, it could be. Even when we started calling that the sign of the Son of Man, okay, we're just like going by, it's like the hindsight 2020 thing. We were like, yeah, what else could it be? You know? But when you look at the rainbow colors, it's a covenant promise. He's remembering his covenant. And what was that covenant with the rainbow? Not to destroy the earth by water again, but this time it's going to be fire. Okay? Yeah, it was the end with the Gentiles. Definitely. I believe that was when the door was closed to the Gentiles. He's done with them. Okay? So, and it was Tabernacles, the last day of Tabernacles, the palm branches, all that stuff. What a blessed day it was, sealing. And it was just like, bam, all these auroras everywhere. You know, well, yeah, this was like the icing on the cake. This was the aspect. We did not expect that. Nobody expected that. Okay. So that also came from the heavens. Now, when you go into the timeline and you look at the sun darkening, the moon not giving its light. Now he's going in chronological order. And then the stars will fall from heaven and the powers of heaven will be shaken. And we were saying that. There it is. There it is. He just shook the heavens, man, and all these auroras came out. Okay, so that still fits. The powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then you will see the sign of the Son of Man. You see? So it's just letting us know it's an appointed time. Okay, it's the last day of a feast day. It's a heavenly sign, so it's very important. But I think the Gentile closing and the sign of the Son of Man are separate things. See what I'm saying? I think it's a covenant. He ended the covenant. He remembered his covenant. Here's the rainbow. He made a covenant with the Gentiles as well. It's like, think about it. When the Jews came in, they didn't accept the Messiah. So he took this 70-week covenant and said, okay, I'm going to extend it over to the Gentiles. Okay, so we get it 2,000 years like they did. And here we are, the last 3.5 years of the covenant. So he ends it with the Gentiles. I think that's what it is. I think it's just and it hit all over the world. Okay, it didn't just hit in America. So I believe that was a worldwide ending of the Gentile covenant. That's what I think it was. Now we're going to roll into my covenant, the finishing up of this, because he has now ignited something over there on the last great day with the Jewish people. So that's what we're waiting for. So if that's already like, they both can, I can see where both can pertain, because they're both heavenly signs. They're both after the sun darkening and the moon not giving its light, then the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Okay, now you will see the sign of the Son of Man. That is the last thing that we're supposed to see. And then you'll see the Son of Man in the clouds. Well, is that the last thing that we've seen back on 1335 with these auroras? No, we got this Purim thing ending, and we also got this, the last of this 8-leaf top, the beginning and the end. So I think the last thing we're going to see is the end. The last sign is going to be the end, which will be the finishing up of the sign of the Son of Man, the beginning and the end, 2017 to 2024. And it's after the sign of the Son of Man is after the times and a half of time. It's like immediately after, like 2 weeks after. And then 2 weeks after that begins the next cycle. So that tells me that the last sign that we'll see as believers is what he says in the scriptures. It'll be the sign of the Son of Man. So if we put that on the 1335, there are signs that we're still seeing, you know? So I just lean more towards that. How much? I'm like 95% going that way with that. Because the more I look at it, the more I see that the 1335 is just the closing of the Gentiles and the closing of that covenant with the Gentiles. And he just, remembers his promise to us, but gives us a warning in that too. As beautiful as it is, it's coming down from heaven, man. We need to be like basically, oh man, what does this mean? It means I'm done with the Gentiles. It's brought into its fullness. Y'all done trampled it underfoot. I cleaned up the sanctuary. This is the last day of it. I'm remembering my covenant. Hey man, the next time it's going to be fire, and it's coming soon. So I think like even when we write our signature too, I'm really looking at it as the sign of the Son of Man. I like saying it like the signature in the heavens, the Bible says, and he's writing his name. He says, I'm the Son of Man. He says, I am the Aleph Tav. I am the beginning and the end. So he starts writing it. It's not completed. He's writing his signature starting in 2017. And then he finally finishes it in 2024. And that's where you know how like when you write your name and you make emphasis on things like when you don't have anything to where you dot I's and T's and all that. But like with my Ronnie, when you lift up, when you're writing your name, and you lift up on your pen and you move on and you write up it. Well, your name's not done until it's done. Your signature's done. And like I said, there's got to be a beginning. My question is, when is the beginning? If that's the sign of the Son of Man, you will see this in there in the heavens. Okay. It's just, to me, it just looks like an ending of the covenant of the Gentiles, because then you see the flip side of it, of what he did at the last great day with the Jewish people. Now, in the Matthew 24, it says, you're the guy, you guys will be the only ones that see the sign of the Son of Man. And if that's the aurora, well, it went all over the world. So to me, just the Gentiles means the Gentile nations, all conglomerate. What other country is he going to put this Aleph Tav over? Germany? China? No, he does it over the United States. So like I said, this Aleph Tav, beginning and the end, he says, I am the Aleph Tav. I am the beginning and the end. And he signs his name, the beginning and the end. And he starts it when it starts, and he finishes it when it finishes. So it's a writing his name across in the heavens. I am the Aleph Tav. He didn't write Yeshua. He didn't write Yahashua. He didn't write Jesus in cursive over there. He wrote his name, Aleph Tav. I am the beginning and the end. So I'm looking at the beginning of all this and the end of all this, and it's exactly 7 trumpets, And so I just lean more towards that way. But the more I look at it, the more I see more leans that way. And I think it's a hindsight 2020 thing. I've been wrong about lots of things. I thought the 1335 was going to be the rapture. Wasn't fully convinced, but hey, what other blessing, But then I come and find out I was wrong. Just like the sun darkening and the moon not giving its light right after the tribulation, where it could have been something supernatural in the very end. And then it's like, no, it's right here. It's right in front of our faces, with it being on trumpets and tabernacles. There it is. So, like I said, I understand you're 50-50. Absolutely. Because it's a flipping over for me. It's just starting to look at things in a little bit more detail. And it's really hard to pin this one because of where it's at in the Bible. But I think the key to it is looking at, and you'll see this after the tribulation, you'll see the sun darken, the moon not giving its light, the powers of heaven will be shaken, and you will see the sign of the Son of Man, and you will see, the Lord coming in the clouds. So it's still in order. That's the thing. And yeah, the only thing that'll really convince me that it's not the sign of the Son of Man is that Christ comes before it. You see? Well, then we'll know it's not. You know, but I don't think he's coming on Purim, and I don't think he's coming during that eclipse. I think he's coming 2 weeks after. You know, my highest watch date right now. You know, it's going to be after. I fully believe it's going to be after that solar eclipse, even if it's 24 hours after. I don't see it happening nowhere before that. You know, so and I think you believe the same way. You know, our highest watch date, we both agree, is right smack in the middle of that solar eclipse in Passover. You know, I think that's where we're going to get maybe our warning. Maybe that solar eclipse is our warning, you know, and it's going to be, you know, right after when he splits the sky. But anyway, um, I just see it more. The more I'm looking at it now that I'm actually looking at this Elif Tav, because it's the last thing, you know, to look at. Back when we were in that 1335, we weren't even discussing this solar eclipse. We weren't even really looking at it. We were so into, you know, in the Hanukkah, and that, you know, that came, you know, like a big tidal wave and all that stuff that was happening during then. So it's kind of like we're learning as we go along, and then we can look back, hindsight 2020, and see different things. I mean, I originally thought that the sign of the Revelation 12 sign was the sign of the Son of Man, you know, until I was corrected. And I was like, no, that's definitely not it. You know, I wasn't fully convinced, but I'm just like, hey, I'm throwing it out there because I don't see anything else. And then I started seeing that 1335. I'm like, hey, man, now that, you know, is a biggie. You know, that came out of nowhere. And then turn around, now you got this signature across the sky, Alif Tav. The thing that really gets me is I am the beginning and the end. I am this beginning and end. And this is my signature. So I don't think the auroras were his signature. You know, I just don't see it like that. I think it's his covenant. You know, it's the end of the Gentiles. That was such a big day, dude. It was such a finalization of things. So it's easy to see that being the sign of the Son of Man as a finalization. Um, you know, I'll look in the Sefer Bible and see how many times Elif Tav is mentioned. You know, and where exactly it's in the Bible. I think that would be the key to find out if this is in the sign of the Son of Man. Because here's the thing, Jerry, I agree with you. It's going to be backed up in Scripture. Where is this aurora? You know, this was something that really just cold cocked us. You know, it just came out, you know, out of the blue, out of nowhere, and just bam. And all that really, you know, said, hey, that 1335, blessed are those that reach 1335. Here's your blessing. Bam. You know, and just a little breadcrumb of the throne room of heaven, how beautiful it was. And like I said, all these signs and all these feast days, they're just one thing to say, yeah, these are appointed times. It's just doing nothing but verifying that we're seeing exactly where God is on the schedule of things, you know. So that's what they're for. That's what he says they're for, you know, to let man know these are my appointed times. You know, it's in the Bible what he's doing on those days for those who, you know, want to see exactly what he's doing during his appointed times. But and that's why I've been, you know, hyped up on him. And like Mandy said tonight, she goes, how